of Newcastle being too expensive. How much is that on the manager himself, on Eddie Howe? Surely that were his instructions, Rob.
No, I don't think it was, Michelle. I think what happened was when you're playing and you go a goal down, you think, oh, can we get a goal back quick? Can we get a goal back quick? You know, that's what we need to do, is get back in the game as quick as we possibly can, and you maybe take chances. All of a sudden, instead of you getting back to 2-2, you're now 3-1 down. You know, can we do it again? Do we need to get a goal back? The next goal is important. You're 4-1 down. So I don't think it would have been Eddie Howe's instructions at all. I just think it would have been the players out there thinking, we've got to get back in the game as quickly as possible. And when you do that and you leave space for Kane, and Kane's passing in the second half was like a midfield, world-class midfield player. And he's a world-class striker, and you can stick him up. I could see him, and you know, as he gets older, almost being a quarterback and passing like that. It was ridiculous. And you give him that space with him and Son, they're going to destroy you.
Yeah, when you look at some of the stats and the figures around Harry Kane, they're quite phenomenal. But you know, one of them that stood out to me a little bit, Rob, was he has now contributed to 25 or more goals per season, contributed for the last 8 seasons. That is just unreal, isn't it?
Gary, if you think when these guys took over at Newcastle in October, I think it was, and Spurs came up to St James's Park, Harry Kane hadn't scored a Premier League goal.
Yeah,
that was in October. I think the end of October, he hadn't scored a goal, and he's an unbelievable talented player.
Yeah,
he does everything. And, you know, he's always reminding me of Alan Shearer, but
yeah. And this is a prime example as well, isn't it? You know, when you look at this delivery, you mentioned his passing in the second half. When you look at this delivery from Harry Kane, you know, I think it's almost impossible to defend against, because it's in behind their back line, it's in front of the keeper, and you have to give him great credit to Doherty for getting there. To be honest with you, because you know, Doherty's playing as a left wing back come left midfielder, and he ends up on the end of this Harry Kane cross inside the 6-yard box. You know, it's football of the highest order. Look at the quality in this ball. Brilliant.
I think it's difficult, Gary, to blame anybody there from Newcastle's defence. You know, I know Eddie Howe wouldn't have been happy with the goal, but it's such a good. We were saying before about Son's one in the first half. It's such a good cross. That it's virtually impossible to defend it. So it's really difficult to. We can always say we could have got closer to Harry Kane. We could have got, you know, Doherty. We could have got in front of him. But sometimes, as I said before, Rob?
Did you think that cross was for Doherty, or do you think it was for Son?
Well, I think Harry Kane always looks for Son. I don't think you're looking for Doherty, all due respect to him, coming as a wing-back. He's looking for Son. Son sort of like missed the ball. And to be fair, Son got in front of his man. He could have scored it. But Doherty, you know, when you're playing wing-backs, it's their job to get in the box, get in the far post. I'm sure that's what he's been told by Conte. And that's what he done. He got himself in there and he gets himself a goal.
And about Doherty as well, to think that at one point there were a majority of Spurs fans absolutely hated Doherty, but the turnaround that he's had this season under Antonio Conte, playing that wing-back role as well, has been absolutely. But for Spurs, it might just be important in the sense that keeping someone like Harry Kane, Gary?
Well, yeah, if you're a top player, do you want to play in the Europa Conference League, where Spurs were this season, or do you want to play in the Champions League? Well, it's quite obvious, isn't it? So, yeah, without doubt, I think for Antonio Conte to keep the players at Spurs that he wants to keep at Spurs, and to bring in the players to make Spurs even better or to improve them, Spurs need to be playing in Champions League. It's as simple as that.
Do you not think the Antonio Conte pool is big enough on its own?
Well, I think it's a big part of it, yeah. But if I've got the chance to play for Spurs under Antonio Conte in the Europa League, or I got the chance to play for Arsenal under Arteta in the Champions League, where do you think I might go? And I think that's the way players look at it these days. Okay, they might balance it out and say, well, okay, if I go to that club, are we going to be in the Champions League season after season after season? And if I'm going to go to this one, if I miss out on one season, as long as we're there for the next 5 seasons, it's not a problem. What are your thoughts, Rob?
Yeah, I agree. I think every club that's vying for fourth is exactly that. It's for signings, it's for re-signings, and I think it's vital that Spurs get it, because Harry Kane almost went this summer, and if they continuously don't get in the Champions League, he has to go. I mean, as much as Spurs fans will hate to hear it, and Conte will hate to hear it, he'll have to go. He wants to play the Champions League. He is a world-class football player, and he needs to be playing the Champions League.
So you say that is the Champions League qualification is the make and break whether Harry Kane stays or goes, Rob?
I think so. Yeah, in my opinion, yeah, I think if Spurs don't get in the Champions League, I think he'll be pushing to get away. I mean, we thought it'd gone, this summer. I thought Man City had got him this summer, but I don't think they can hold on again. I think the relationship that's he didn't start as we just said before, he didn't start the season very well. Didn't score to October, and people were questioning whether he was loyal to Spurs, which I thought was ridiculous. But maybe it did affect him. There was lots of speculation, and I think they're going to get it again if they don't get in the Champions League.
But would things be different a little bit now for Harry Kane, in the sense whereby if Man City is his target, Man City looks like to be signing Erling Haaland rather than not signing him, will that play a role in Harry Kane's decisions now? I mean, there's not a lot of clubs that can afford his transfer fee and his wages as well. So within the Premier League, you're probably only looking at the 2 Manchester clubs. And if you're talking about winning trophies, Manchester United don't exactly have a significantly better chance than Spurs at winning a trophy at this point. So Man City might just be the only side in the Premier League that is a viable option. But with Erling Haaland coming in, Gary, do you think that influences decisions?
Well, yeah, I think there's an awful lot of brinkmanship that's going to go on between now and the big transfers that are almost inevitably going to happen in the summer, and a couple that won't. So I think if Spurs qualify for the Champions League for next season, Conte gets the players in that he wants because the club do back him, then I think Harry Kane will stay there. If they don't get in the Champions League, it means that possibly Spurs can't bring in the players that they want, and then maybe Harry Kane looks more seriously about moving away, moving on. If it's Man City, well, do Man City want Haaland or do they want Harry Kane? That's Man City's decision, isn't it? So there's going to be all sorts of negotiations and discussions behind the scenes, and until we know where everybody is going to finish in the league this season, which it looks like it's going to go down almost certainly to virtually the last weekend of the season, it's like looking into a crystal ball, because we're still all guessing, really.
But just taking all that aside, let's take Champions League qualification aside, because there have been reports saying that Manchester United are interested in getting Harry Kane. Just looking at it, Rob, Spurs and Manchester United, let's say Antonio Conte remains at Spurs next season. We don't yet know who Manchester United's manager might be. It might be Pochettino, who has a good relationship with Harry Kane. Again, a big question mark there. Which is the more appealing option at the moment? Is it Spurs or is it Manchester United, Rob?
Well, I would say at the moment Spurs. I think Man United look all over the place. They look totally leaderless, which they are. I mean, but why is it just Man United? Why Liverpool? Any team would want Harry Kane. Any team that's getting the Champions League would want Harry Kane. So I would just say it's Man United, because at the moment, if Harry Kane had a choice between Manchester United and Spurs, I genuinely think he'd stay at Spurs.
Yeah, this is how wild it is. We are guessing from miles away here at the moment, because there's some talk about Salah and moving on from Liverpool. Well, if Salah moves on from Liverpool, is maybe Harry Kane the person who goes in there, for example? I know they're very different players, but I think, Michelle, we can speculate all evening about this, and we can come up with loads of different permutations, but we just have to be a little bit patient. And it's a bit of fun, I know, but we're talking about people's livelihoods, and we're talking about multi-million-pound businesses here as well. These football clubs. If we talking about we've just seen Spurs and Newcastle play, and I think chatting about Newcastle and the money that's going to go into there, and the fact that they have a tumble-down stadium at the moment, they have a very average training ground, and they've just got dumped heavily by Tottenham, who have a £1 billion stadium, one of the best training facilities in world football. You know, Spurs are miles ahead of Newcastle. Newcastle have so much work to do. They really do.
Yeah, but really.
So you don't think we can get Harry Kane then yet?
I don't think Harry will be going to Newcastle next season. No.
Right. I'll be honestly very interested to hear